we all needed the Buzz Lightyear origin story, and thank God Pixar gave it to us. Dave, tell me about Lightyear. Did you enjoy your movie going experience with this?
Yeah, man, Lightyear's a tough one.
Oh
I
no.
think it's notable to acknowledge that Lightyear is our first time back at the movie theater with Pixar since the pandemic began. Of course, Onward box office that's cut off as the pandemic began, and then Soul, Luca, and Turning Red all
Right.
released directly to Disney Plus since then. So Lightyear's our first time back in the theater, and it's a bit of a shame that like the first time back in the theater is their most like uninspired movie of the bunch. And
Mm.
yeah, I like it less than all of those recent Pixar movies that have come out in the past 2 years for sure. It's it's definitely a weird one, and if you look at the box office and you see that this is actually coming in below projections, I just hope Disney like doesn't take the wrong lessons here and they send their next movie Elemental to theaters next year. I just hope that happens because like I think Lightyear had just kind of a core issue with it where like you kind of joked about in the start, like people don't really know like what this is, which is such an unforced error for a Pixar movie. It's like no, it's not a Toy Story spin-off really. It's not a Buzz Lightyear thing. It's as they say on the screen when you start watching the film. This is the movie Andy saw in 1995 that made him want to get a Buzz Lightyear toy. It's like, huh? It's like it's just kind of a weird sell, and it's also a bit disappointing for Andy that like this was his like Star Wars, because like
Yeah.
the movie Lightyear is like, it's just not that great. I just didn't really enjoy my time with it nearly as much as I would with even say like Luca, which is a Pixar film that has a lot of familiar Pixar themes. At the end of the day, it's like super well made and fun to be with. Lightyear wasn't that fun to be with, honestly, and
Mm.
I think that's just kind of unfortunate. You know, lot's been made of the voice change here. Tim Allen no longer Buzz. You have Chris Evans coming in, and you obviously understand why that perhaps happened. Chris Evans definitely easier person to have on the promo circuit, but honestly, I think the Tim Allen performance is far superior. As Buzz Lightyear, which I think that also kind of like a fundamental thing where like if you think about like Toy Story, the Buzz character was always kind of it was a joke. Buzz was a joke, and the Buzz him how he thought about himself was so um, out of touch, right? And Woody would always poke fun at this about how this guy's just a fucking idiot, right? And like
You
was
are a toy.
right. This time around, though, and we have Evans at the helm. This Buzz Lightyear character, the real Buzz Lightyear, he's just like an arrogant, selfish hotshot. It's like it's just not redeeming. But there's also like no extra subtext to it the way there was with the Buzz Lightyear character in Toy Story. So it just doesn't have like the multitudes that you'd expect from a Pixar film. Whatever. They make a lot more movies now than they used to. They're not going to have as high a batting average. It is what it is. But this was something that, like, I feel like had such a high bar to try and be successful because everyone was so skeptical of this movie when it was announced at like a shareholder meeting. It's like no one necessarily wanted this. It's like, okay, fine. Maybe it's not the Pixar movie for adults, like many of them are. Kids, though, right? At the end of the day, these are kids' movies, animated movies. But like as like a rip roaring like animated adventure, like it's definitely not like the best choice, for kids when they're picking out what to watch on Disney Plus. It's yeah, I think the supporting characters are pretty weak, and like
Mm.
the a lot of the set pieces, really everything after the first act is just pretty monotonous, and I find that really disappointing. I think it's funny. There's a few moments of brilliance with this, which I think actually makes it even more disappointing when you look at the whole thing. Because in the very beginning of the film, after what happens at our start, where Buzz basically causes this large spacefaring vessel to crash on a planet that's not their destination, everyone has to come out of deep sleep and start working and find a way to fix their big ship so they can leave this planet and move on to where they were going. That's kind of our setup. And uh, Buzz takes it on himself to fix this because he was the one who caused the incident in the first place. So he keeps testing their like fuel loads and like their hyperspace fuel, whatever it is, right? And every time he does these tests, it's only like 10-minute test for him. But when he lands back on the planet where they're stuck, it's like 4 years have passed. Some interstellar shit starts happening. Next thing you know, we get a up level montage where Buzz keeps testing and testing and testing to the point where his best friend lives a full life and then dies. And it's like, wow, it's very reminiscent of Up, where like he just kind of hits you in the feels, but it's also a very effective way to, I think, put the movie in a place I didn't expect it to go right off the jump in the first like 20 minutes.
Hmm.
And then it's just so disappointing that after that montage, it just like doesn't come together the way I wanted it to. I think that the saving grace of the movie, which saves so many of the scenes, because like I said, I think the supporting characters are pretty undercooked. Buzz isn't that fun to be with. The best thing about this is the sidekick. It's the robotic dog Socks, who
Is it a
is just
dog
kind
or
of
a
like the
cat?
secret weapon sidekick character. So funny.
I think Socks is a cat from the picture you have, at least.
Oh, it's a cat. Yeah, it's a cat. Sorry, it's a little cat.
Well, and
Not,
so that was one of the
but
things I
yeah, it's
was.
good.
Yeah, that was something I was thinking about. Was like, Andy obviously is gonna love the main character of the movie, but like, I feel like the cat would have been like the toy that would have really like popped off back in the day. You would have had to get the Buzz Lightyear toy and the cat, and he just never got the cat. Like I don't know. That feels like a hole now. It feels like a Star Wars like prequel type hole where you have to write this back into the new Toy Stories why they never produced the cat figurine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Socks, great name.
Socks is great, voiced by Peter Sohn, who is a Pixar director, Pixar veteran. Lightyear, directed by Angus McLean, who is another Pixar veteran. This is his first solo directorial work for them. Pixar, of course, just like Domi Shi with Turning Red, continue to promote in-house, which is really cool to see how they keep giving people chances that are involved to the varying degrees along the way. But yeah, it's not like, it's just kind of an underwhelming, undercooked film, which it just feels off because this was something that needed to be fully cooked to be made because it was an intentional spin-off of Toy Story. So yeah, it's just not nearly as fun as I wanted to, but the socks is the best part about it, start to finish, and a lot of the socks stuff is really fun.
So it sounds like you're a fan of the socks, Dave.
I am. Yep.
There you
High
go.
socks.
High on socks, low on Lightyear. I'm probably gonna wait to have this drop on Disney Plus before I check it out. Doesn't feel like something I need to see in theaters. So, um, drop your thoughts on this below on our YouTube page because I'm interested to see because Pixar has just been on such a undeniable run, and even if some of the movies recently have been a bit headier and not as fun to be with as some of those like 2010s or late 2000s Pixar movies, I definitely feel like what everything I'm hearing about this feels just like a big misstep. So I'm interested to
Right.
see if other people are viewing it the same way.
I mean, especially just coming off Turning Red though. Like Turning Red is like
Right.
so much better than this, and has so much more going on,
Yeah.
and is also so much more engaging to kids. I feel like too. So it's just kind of a head scratcher at the end of the day. Lightyear.